From struggle to straggle. The single vowel difference is subtle, but powerful. May I redefine these terms for you and I? When I say struggle, I mean a condition common to humanity in its current state. A going nowhere, being stuck in a rut, repeating the same routine day in, day out, with no progress, no change. A straggler, on the other hand, lives with these difficulties, but moves forward, crawling, inching like a cripple, but forward nonetheless. To straggle forward means that you go on with your life with imperfections, with dissatisfaction, but with the acceptance of the way things are, both as you cannot change them, while holding focus on what little you can. Humans are rather insect-like, not much different from ants and bees. It is rarely a single human that produces what is most influential in the world. Rather, it's teams of people. But in the condition where you lack a team, or the team is dispersed and unable to collaborate, you got yourself. Yourself and her, of course. You do nothing alone. You do not live in a vacuum of space. Or rather you do, but that vacuum is filled with a world, a specific world, this world, planet Earth, Mother Gaia, the Aeon Sophia. I would assume anyone taking an interest in this channel or what I have to say knows what I'm talking about. She does most of the work. Food will grow on its own, under her watch. All you have to do is find it. Beauty. Beauty is all around. She is a fountain of beauty. The world you live in isn't all you want to do but admire. Isn't all you need to do is observe. You fill your senses, sometimes with nonsense, oftentimes with distraction. This has a dulling effect on your attention, as improper use of a knife will have on its blade. Obsession is one such pitfall. It's a kind of blindness that seems to satisfy. Being obsessed with one thing or a handful of things confers blindness. Your website subscriptions know how to reproduce the content you want. You get to thinking you are learning something, that you are conducting productive research. But are you? Is your life that much different because of all the content you sort through and absorb on the internet? Most of what I see is an audience that picks agreeable content for themselves, constantly receives, quote, updates, unquote, that do nothing but reinforce the stubbornness of what their minds have already convicted, their stubborn-ass beliefs. Never coming into question, never bringing under scrutiny, never reconsidering. This is but part of the struggle. For many years of my life, I struggle. I have problems which are currently in a state of struggle, desires which I do not know how to meet, nor how to move towards. Yet I too acknowledge my straggling process. When I look again, I have changed. I have grown. While these things are not to boast about, you can demonstrate the difference. Now I'm facing a struggle which today I choose to tackle. My desire to engage in conversation, to bring something novel to the table. But in order for me to make this attempt, I have to be content with what is flawed. I make no claim to know anything. Did Socrates say this before? I don't necessarily know anything, let alone everything. Yet it appears to me that the nature of the human mind is to encompass all which you see, to every idea you've encountered, to hold both in body and in mind a stance. Name anything, any subject. I may have thoughts and opinions about it. I'm sure you do as much. Or I may have no opinion, may be indifferent. Somehow that is a stance as well. It is possible and rather common for any human to have a stance on the whole world, or even the entire universe, whatever that is. Within such a stance are elements or icons. They may be things called good, evil, cleanliness, nature, truth, error, heat, cold, winter, spring, business, ocean, land, clouds, charity, crime, and the list goes on. All the elements of the world. For some, the list may be rather pithy, such as the belief that in all the universe there are only two things, light and dark. Contrast this to Shiva and Shakti. Not quite the same outlook at all. It can get even simpler. Consider those Christians who think everything in the universe is God, or some extension of him. Some replace God with the originator. Nihilists, on the other hand, go even further, reducing the list to contain nothing at all. But more common is the quasi-omniscient wheel of elements. The average person does not even realize how vast range of ideas their mind can handle, going into the hundreds of various definable things comprising the world. This includes the various designations of human-oriented reality. Liberals, conservatives, anarchists, blah, blah, blah. Authorities, civilians, and dissidents. Free people and slaves. Art, science, labor, rest. Ignorance, intellect, and self-delusion. I suppose sorting everything out is a struggle for many people, even when they lack awareness that it is you yourself who grants importance of attention to any subject of interest. The more that disinterests you, the less you have to struggle with. Yet there is a level of balance. It doesn't appear effective to just take a reductionist stance that the universe is so simple. In some ways it is, but the level of dynamic in the world requires you to have a broader capacity to gauge, at the very least, what is right for you to attend to in the present moment. So while I write this script by the seat of my pants, I can already see how sloppy it is. I started out with some focus, then I went all over the place and perhaps poorly described an idea which I'm trying to formulate with excessive twisting examples. For all you know, I may be just compiling a list of words in random sequence that jaggedly touch on an array of unrelated concepts. This can indeed work to satisfy the audience's mind, depending on how sharp their attention is. When, if ever, does an audience realize their beloved speakers are but reciting strings of words with little or no relation to one another? That you may as well listen to silence and be affected no differently either. If this is some gimmick of mine, it's not very clever. Apparently I'm straggling here. Onward is the only goal, accomplishment or not, because I crave to move forward somehow. I have pages of throwaway drafts of ideas for conversation starters. One problem is I have no idea who my audience is. Second, even in the past when I have initiated conversation, I never got the results I wanted. You're such a silent bunch of few words. On the other hand, my fellow paragraph writers can't seem to compose a clear message, other than an empty note of thanks. Are you hiding something? Do you presume that your personal convictions are common to everyone and therefore don't need to be stated? Or that you are are you not expounding upon them because the massive workload they require for little payoff, if any? The thing you are accustomed to receive for doing anything in life? Or are you not expounding upon them because of the massive workload they require for little, if any, payoff? The thing you are accustomed to receive for doing anything in life. Maybe you cannot handle your ideas being criticized. Look, lady, fellow, Go ahead and criticize me and what I say, such as the following. You gotta reanalyze or reevaluate what you are thinking regularly. Why? Because you live in a dynamic, ever-changing world, and you are an ant. In my experience, it's common to imagine a grandiose purpose for yourself. Do I think that by talking and writing I can make major changes to anyone's mind, their lives, or even the fate of humanity? Hell no. Not alone, anyway. The only desire I am addressing here is conversation. The wasteland is an apt trope for the state of things when it comes to finding what you desire. Perhaps you cannot find it. Perhaps all you can do is move towards it, or just trudge forward until it, whatever it is, finds you. With a lack of knowing, a lack of expectation, in this way you can find yourself delightfully surprised. Realizations come with this effect. Oh, I thought the world worked like this, but now I realize it doesn't work like that at all. What a relief. I thought this morning of picking 3 topics, 3 pertinent conversations I want to engage, but I won't pick them just yet. I can't even say I will commit to it. I'm just stating it as part of my desire for the moment. This, however, serves as the first. While I would enjoy open debate or open discussion, I realize you, my audience, are either shy or incapable of writing anything coherent. Hell, you can damn well accuse me of worse with this shabby piece of writing. So the only way I can move forward is in this one-sided format. I'm not happy with where things are right now, but I cannot remain silent. What, if anything else, is to come from me may be incredibly sloppy, worse than what you choose to endure here. Ramblings. Plain and simple. So be it.